Okay, so today we're diving into something that's probably on a lot of people's minds right now, at least if you're in Ontario.
Oh, yeah,
Renting.
for sure.
Yeah, trying to find a place to rent in Ontario.
Definitely a hot topic.
And we've got a ton of research and articles here.
Yeah?
And honestly, they paint a pretty crazy picture of what's happening.
I bet.
One article actually highlighted that Ontario could be short, get this, 3.5 million housing units by 2030.
Wow.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah, that's a huge shortage.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And that kind of sets the stage for just how competitive the rental market is right now,
Yeah, it definitely makes things tough for renters.
For sure. And here's something that I found really interesting. It seems like it's kind of a growing trend.
Okay.
It seems like realtors are becoming key players, especially these listing agents.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you talk a bit about that? Like, what exactly are listing agents doing in the rental process?
Well, landlords are getting bombarded with applications these days, right?
I can imagine, yeah.
Especially with the housing shortage.
Uh-huh.
So they need some help to kind of filter through all those applications and find the best tenants.
Makes sense.
And that's where listing agents come in.
Yep.
They basically act as a first line of defense for the landlord.
So it's not just sending an application straight to the landlord anymore.
It can be, but it's becoming less common, especially for the more desirable properties.
Really?
Yeah, because think about it from the landlord's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might get like 50 applications for one unit.
Oh,
Do they really want to spend their time going through all of those?
probably not.
Exactly. So they hire a listing agent to do that initial screening for them.
So what does that screening actually involve?
Well, there's actually a whole 3-stage process.
3 stages.
Yeah. So first, if you're working with a realtor yourself, which some renters do, they'll do an initial assessment.
Okay.
They'll look at your situation, your needs, and see if you even meet the basic requirements of the listing. Right. Then the listing agent who's working for the landlord, they'll do a much deeper dive into your application.
Uh-huh.
They'll look at things like your credit history, your employment status, your references, all that stuff.
So they're really vetting you pretty thoroughly.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to make sure you're a reliable tenant who's going to pay rent on time and take care of the place.
Makes sense. So what's the 3rd stage?
So if you're lucky enough to make it past the first 2 stages, then the landlord themselves will look at the top applications.
Gotcha.
They'll make the final decision based on who they think is the best fit for their property.
Wow, 3 stages. So it sounds like you really have to be on top of your game to stand out in this market.
Absolutely. Preparation is key.
Like, what kind of things should people be doing to prepare?
Well, first off, your credit score, got to make sure that's in good shape.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's like the first thing landlords look at. It tells them a lot about your financial responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're paying your bills on time, managing your debt, all that good stuff.
Right. Okay. What else?
References are huge, too.
Ah, yeah.
Having solid references, especially from previous landlords who can vouch for you, that can really make a difference.
So if you're a good tenant, make sure you stay on good terms with your landlord.
Exactly. You never know when you might need that reference.
True, true. Anything else people should keep in mind?
Yeah. When you're filling out those applications, be thorough and be accurate.
Right.
Don't leave any gaps in your information. Make sure everything's consistent, because any little red flag could hurt your chances.
So we've got this huge housing shortage on the horizon, which is already making the rental market crazy competitive.
Definitely.
And then on top of that, we've got this multi-stage screening process with realtors playing a big part in it all.
It's a lot to navigate.
It is. It's a lot. So if you had to give our listener one key takeaway, what would it be?
I'd say don't get discouraged. Yeah, I know it's tough out there,
It is.
but it's not impossible to find a good place to rent. The key is to be proactive, be prepared, understand the process, and just keep at it.
So it's all about being persistent.
Exactly. Don't give up after a few rejections. Refine your approach, and eventually you'll find the right place.
That's good advice. That's encouraging.
Yeah, just got to stay positive.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
We've talked about how important it is to stand out, right?
Yeah.
But what are some maybe less conventional ways to do that?
That's interesting.
Could you highlight unique skills you have? I don't know, like maybe you're really handy and could help with small repairs around the property?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or what about offering a slightly higher rent up front?
Oh, that's interesting. Definitely shows you're serious.
Exactly. Just think outside the box a little bit. Figure out what might set you apart from the competition.
Yeah, good advice.